Oh yeah, Kent police, by the way, are facing a lawsuit over the thought crime arrest. Now, this all happened a couple of years ago, but it's all come up into the sort of public domain in the recent weekend because of the fact that the story got out and because of the fact that the man in question, a 71-year-old retired police officer, believe it or not, who was handcuffed and locked up for 8 hours, taken away by 6 police officers who came to his home and started padding around inside it, looking at some of the things he had. I think you can just see the pictures now. Looking around the bookshelves, you know, pulling a couple of books out. Oh, he's got one of the books by Douglas Murray. Oh, goodness gracious me. Oh, he's got some Brexity things here, was what they were saying. Absolutely extraordinary behaviour by the police. He's now suing them by the looks of things, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he wins quite a bit of money off them, because it's absolutely outrageous. Completely and utterly outrageous. Let's talk to Sunil Sharma, political commentator and host of the Rational Voices with Sunil podcast. Sunil, very good morning to you.
Morning, Mike.
Let's kick off with this guy because we'll talk about migration in a moment. It's going to dominate an awful lot of what happens today, of course. But, I mean, this case is absolutely incredible, isn't it? And imagine 6 police officers turning up at your door. He's 71 years old, handcuffing you, locking you up for 8 hours because you made a tweet which was about anti-Semitism, which the police seem to misinterpret as actually anti-Semitic.
It's disgraceful. And I think, you know, well done to a 71-year-old to actually be recording what was happening. I think that's really good that he recorded it, he documented everything that was happening, and so that we can all see how the police reacted in that situation. But it's just another example of, I think, in the UK becoming more and more authoritarian, not allowing us to really express any kind of views that don't fall in line with the new sort of social contract of Britain. So I think it is really disgraceful and terrible. But I think really well done to Paul, the ex-police officer, to record this, to have the courage now to sue, because I guarantee this is happening all across the UK, but most people wouldn't necessarily have this courage to go public, to do what they did, to react the way this police officer, ex-former police officer, had reacted. So I think really well done to him, and hopefully he does win that lawsuit, and hopefully he does pocket some good money from it.
Well, he's being supported by Lord Young, Toby Young, and the Free Speech Union, which is good, because they're very, very good at doing this for people, and they normally win, and they're normally successful as well. I mean, he's already told a couple of newspapers that he got a phone call from the Kent Police Chief Constable Tim Smith, who rang him and offered him a personal apology for the ordeal that he endured, and to say that the incident would be thoroughly investigated. But, you know, that doesn't change the trauma that he went through, so I think he should sue them.
No, definitely. And I think we need to hold some of these police officers to account. You know, I understand like that they may be following orders, and this is a new structure, but this must be a much wider review in terms of what our police role in the UK. We know already that the UK police arrest more people for social media posts than Russia do, and I think this is just an extension of that. And I think we should, in Britain, really be worried and sad, because, like I said, you know, this person's actually had the courage to report this, but I guarantee this is happening across the UK, and most people would not be doing what he's doing. So I think it should be a wake-up call for everyone in Britain, and a real review in our police force and what they can actually do and not do should really be questioned.
Absolutely right. And bizarrely, this was a post that he put up in November the 1st of 2023. It was in relation, obviously, to some pro-Palestinian marches that happened in London after what happened on October the 7th. But incredibly, the concerns around the online content which were reported to the police, the tweet was only viewed 26 times. So it wasn't as if it was something that had gone viral and somebody could say, oh, you know, it's influencing an awful lot of people. 26 times it had been viewed. I mean, that's ludicrous, isn't it?
Disgraceful. And I think it just shows what they're trying to. They're trying to stop anyone that they can from speaking out, and they want this control. They want us not to be able to think. And I think to pick on somebody who has 26 views, what would be the rationale? I've heard people say inciting violence and all this stuff, and they have a massive following, but this is just a person expressing his opinion. You may agree, you may not. It's fine, it's normal. And I think we really need to start to draw some lines in what can be said and what can't be said on social media. It just seems like right now, if you're a specific type of person, e.g. a male white person over the age of 40, 50, your vocabulary, social media, in just general TV media, full stop, is so limited. And I think that is terrible for freedom of speech. It's terrible for the whole of Britain. Doesn't matter what your skin color is, because it is very, very clear to me, if you are a middle-aged white male, the things that you can say in society in the UK, your vocabulary is so small. You cross that vocabulary, you're in big trouble. And I think that's really, really terrible.
And you wonder why things like this are happening, but you've got a story in the Mail today saying that Scotland Yard has so far put 1,500 minority staff through its mentoring programme to help improve their chances of promotion. Basically, they're offering bespoke workshops to minority and female recruits to help them gain promotion, because they're saying that they want to stop white men from being promoted singly and sort of as a group of people, which seems extraordinary.
Well, I think what we've gone from now is this anti-racism. I think this moving past targeting or promoting women. There's been a change. A lot of this anti-racism, it's now just changing the hierarchy. It's now racism towards white people.
Yeah.
The pro-feminist movement now is basically an attack on men. They're trying to change the hierarchy essentially and the structure. So now that they're using this, well, men are being privileged, white people are being privileged. So now we want to turn the tables, and we now want the different minorities to be in control, and we want the females in control. It's really bizarre. It's not. This isn't. These movements are not. They're not for the full society. They're just trying to change the hierarchy at the table, and they don't care how they're going to do it. And I think that's really, really bad. They're not actually sitting there thinking, you know what? Let's actually just get the best people employed, especially when it comes to our police who are there to protect us. This is the last place we should want diversity in the sense of be pushing this, because most people will care about is if they have a fire at their home, if there's an argument, there's a fight, they want the safest, the strongest, most competent people. If it's a minority, if it's a female, if it's a man, most people don't care. They just want to be protected. And I think this is another example of how a lot of this anti-racism, a lot of this new feminist movement is just trying to change the hierarchy of society rather than actually trying to do any good.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's talk about Keir Starmer and his migration policy today, because he's going to get up in about just over an hour's time to address the nation, where he's going to start talking about a new crackdown on immigration. But already there's a lot of holes in it, it would seem. The Daily Mail's got this ridiculous plan was dismissed as laughable for not containing a cap on numbers. I mean, if you're going to come up with a plan for migration, surely you need to have some kind of cap on the numbers, don't you?
I think this plan, and you can tell how poorly it's been designed and how poorly it's been done, is purely on the basis of what happened with the local elections in Reform doing so well. I think it's just a pure reaction to that. I think they've actually sat there and thought, oh, there was actually a serious chance that we're not going to be in power coming up to the next election. The Tories, they can always keep arguing and saying, well, you did nothing to migration. You've got no legs to stand on when it comes to this argument. Now there's actually a third party that can come out and say, well, we haven't had that opportunity and these are our plans. So I think this is a pure reaction to the local election results. I don't think they really believe this. If they want to, they could start doing something right now, as opposed to this is something I think these plans are going to come into place next year. If they were serious about it, they would do something right now. But I think migration, I think it needs a much bigger conversation. We know why the Conservative Party did a poor job of it. We know why Labour will continue to do a poor job of it. It's being used to just essentially inflate GDP numbers, inflate the economy when the average person's getting worse and worse off in the UK. I don't think he's serious about this, because he knows if he does cut net migration substantially, that'll have an impact on the economy in a short-term basis. I don't think he's going to do that, because for him, these graphs are really, really important. This is how he justifies his job, his career. The average person doesn't come into his consideration. So I don't think many people have any trust in these new migration plans.
Because if you read the small print, unless he's going to say something very, very different at 8:30, which we don't anticipate, he says in the Telegraph that they're going to unveil plans that tighten legislation that allow courts to grant asylum to foreign criminals and illegal migrants under the ECHR in exceptional circumstances, right? So, I mean, basically, as long as those exceptional circumstances still exist, then they're still going to be allowed to stay here. And he reckons that he's going to be trying to give the impression that none of these people will stay here. But you know as well as I do that there'll be plenty of exceptional circumstances. But, my exceptional circumstance might be different from an immigration judging panel's exceptional circumstance.
100%. And I think what people, the first question people should be asking when he does do this speech is, why have you changed your tune? Why did this not come before the election? And why is this it for so long? I'd love to know that answer, because to me, it's just such a pure reactionary thing to what happened to local elections. And again, these, you're right to say about the exceptional circumstances. It's purely subjective. There's nothing there that's concrete in terms of what an exceptional circumstance is. So, you do you like? I think he's clear. He's probably seen that people are frustrated with migration, and he's going to come up with a speech hoping this will sort of paper the cracks and make everyone feel comfortable and happy. That's not going to happen. I think no one trusts. I think even the most biggest Sakir Starmer fans, the few that exist, will sit there and say they do not have trust in terms of what he's saying when it comes to migration. Maybe about other things, but I think this is the last person you want to hear in terms of like controlling borders. If he wants to do something with the borders, he could do it right now. He's a prime minister of the country. If he can't do something right now, then what is the point of him being in power?
Right.
So this idea now, I just have no trust in it.
Yeah, one of the stories in The Sun today, which is extraordinary, and exclusive by Andy Robinson, about this guy, a rapper who's a mate of 50 Cent, by the way. I don't know if you've seen it. Bangham Smurf, his name is. This is a real good example of what has gone wrong with immigration in this country. This is a guy who was born in Trinidad, right? He ends up living in the United States of America, where he gets banged up for getting involved in a shooting incident in New York City. He goes to jail for 3.5 years in America. He somehow ended up in a migrant hotel in Stevenage, right? A Novotel in Hertfordshire. And nobody can explain what he's doing here.
Crazy. I mean, I just saw, funny enough, something on Instagram from 50 Cent saying, I don't know this person. I had like a very brief encounter with him. But look, the crazy thing with this is it just seems like if you're a criminal and or if you're somebody who wants to come to the UK, the best way to do it is to do it illegally. Just come through the UK system illegally. If you're actually somebody who's somebody that's needed in this economy where we have shortages in so many different industries, your chances of coming to the UK are very, very slim. And I think this example just sums up how on earth he's ended up in the United Kingdom is absolutely crazy. And so when Sakir Starmer gives this speech, how can anyone be seriously confident in what he's saying when you have examples like this currently in the UK? I find it baffling. And I think, he'd be better off saying that I actually don't know what I'm doing with immigration. I don't know how I'm going to stop it, but I'm going to get some people who I think are going to be better at doing something. Because I don't think anyone can trust what is going to come out of his mouth when it comes to immigration this morning.
No, absolutely right. Good to talk to you, Sunil Sharma. Thank you very much indeed.